did you guys know that your bedroom is the optimal place to grow houseplants and vegetables indoors? Well, today I'll show you guys. Basically, all around the world, many greenhouses that farm plants like houseplants and vegetables and fruits use CO2 through a pipeline to increase the growth and vegetation of their crops while they're planted indoors. This is proof from the Dutch greenhouse. As we know from science that plants use CO2 along with water and the sun to produce food and grow. And they receive this through animals such as us and other animals all around the world that emit CO2 every day by just constantly breathing without even thinking about it. An average human actually emits 35,000 to 50,000 parts per million every single breath they take. This is a study conducted by Washington State University. Now, since you guys wanted to know how much CO2 it actually requires to grow plants effectively, here's a chart from Fruition that shows the optimal amount of CO2 required to grow the plants. As you can see here, cannabis is optimal at 800 to 1400 parts per million of CO2. Tomatoes is 700 to 1200, and cucumbers is 800 to 1000 parts per million, and peppers 800 to 1000. Now, the reason I said the bedroom is the best place to grow plants due to CO2 is because of the amount of CO2 that gets retained in your bedroom. This study from Technical University of Denmark says that the bedroom's levels of CO2 was 2,400 without ventilation and 840 with ventilation, which means for most of us, the chart will say, or for most of us, the study will say that the amount of CO2 is optimal in most of our bedrooms because it would be in a range of around 840 to 2,400, depending on how much ventilation your room has. Because as we look back into the chart, the optimal amount of CO2 again for these fruiting vegetables is around that range, which is the same range as in our bedrooms. And it honestly kind of makes sense because if you think about it, if you spend a lot of time in your bedroom, whether you're sleeping, especially when you're sleeping, because you're just constantly exhaling CO2, and if your bedroom door is closed, most of that is retained, and if you grow the plants in there, the plants will end up retaining a lot of that CO2 to use for optimal growth. Here's some of the plants that I grew while indoors this winter, because I live in the northern hemisphere and it's way too cold right now in January and February. Until March, it'll probably get better, and then I can start planting outside. But right now, I'm just trying to start the seeds and see how they go. Here's the seed I just started. It's just some cauliflower. And then over here, I have the spinach growing. The most successful plant I have right now is probably this thing in the Grubhub bag, which is the pepper plant. Yeah, also remember for all your plants that you have to not only focus on the CO2, but also make sure you have a grow light. And if it's like a tropical plant or like a plant that commonly is grown in hotter areas, you want to make sure you have a heating mat below to support them through their growth. All right, thank you guys for this video. Oh yeah, and then another thing to note is that I'll put all the sources that I provided today in the description of this video in case you guys are interested in looking more into it. All right, again, thank you guys.